Good afternoon, everyone. You are having lunch with Laura. Well, we've got exciting news and unexciting news. If you've been watching the weather, the West Coast is having fires galore, and we are, let me turn that off, I forgot again. We are having our fourth hurricane scare. I think, if I'm counting right, the first one turned at the last minute and went towards Florida. Then Laura came, that was me, wreck destruction in Louisiana, and then I've even forgotten the name of the next one. And lo and behold, we've got another one that's headed our way. In fact, I went to the gym this morning and did a PiYo class, and the gym's closed tomorrow. So I guess, you can never take these things lightly. So I hope if you're in harm's way that you hunker down, get you some good snacks, some good drinks, and maybe you can stamp during that time, because even if it's daylight and you don't have electricity, you can always stamp, okay? So today I have made a scary Halloween card for you. I am using the paper that I used several weeks ago, and let me show you. I'm going to turn you down, and let's see if that'll be right. And I'm actually using 2 stamp sets today. A couple of weeks ago, we used the Hallows Night Magic bundle, and I did that cute little Halloween card and used the stripes of DSP. So today I'm going to use part of this, but my main focus is on one of our other Halloween sets, and it's called Ghoulish Goodies. This one I'm going to be using the witch, and the saying up here that says, it's not just a trick, it's just, let's start that again. It's not a trick, it's just a treat. So this is the one I'm going to use, and I have a new technique to show you. But first, let me show you the DSP that I used was the Magic in the Night. And it has all of these. They're turned back and forth so that you can see which they were. Well, one of my favorite colors, and if you'll look down here, it shows you and tells you the colors that they use in the DSP. So, Basic Black, Blackberry Bliss, Cajun Craze, Pretty Peacock, and Whisper White. Well, I love that Pretty Peacock. You know me in blues. Can you tell? So that's where I got the color for the base card. This is Pretty Peacock. And then I used one of the sheets of DSP that had the colors in it. And this is called a pocket card because when you pull it out, you have your sentiment, your pictures, you can write your greetings around and stick it right back inside. So this is what I'm going to show you today, and I do want to give a shout out to Sue Kelly. She was a demonstrator that I swapped with back in 2017 at one of our on-stage meetings or convention, and this was the card that she did with the little sayings there. So I adjusted this somewhat, but I cased her card. And I think I've mentioned this before, but CASE, C-A-S-E, is an acronym for Copy and Share Everything. And I'm going to tilt that just a little bit better. So, Sue, thank you for the idea, and let me show you what I did. I made up a little cheat sheet here so that you would know where to cut, where to fold. And the Pretty Peacock is cut at 8.5 by 5.5. You're going to score it at 4 inches, score it at 8 inches, and then rotate it and score it at the bottom. Then where this line is and that little notch, you're going to cut that out, as well as your square with notches on both sides here. Okay, so let's get my Simply Scored over here. Now I dropped mine the first week I had it and knocked off that plate. That's why you see some tape there. Okay, we're going to do our scoring first. And you have a stylus that comes with the Simply Scored, a thin end, skinny end, and a fat end. I like the skinny end for DSP because it's thicker. If you were scoring with on DSP, I would recommend the fatter end so that it doesn't cut quite as deep. Okay, now don't pay any attention to this one over here. We're going to score at 4 inches. And you know what? I didn't know the power of my own strength. I broke my stylus a while ago. So I'm going to put that aside, and guess what? Your Take Your Pick tool has a stylus that comes with it. Yay! So I can still score. Okay, so here we are at 4 inches and at 8 inches. And if you don't have one of these, it comes with these little tabs that you put in wherever you want, and that shows you the line that you're going to score with. Then you're turning it at 90 degrees, and at the bottom, I'm scoring it at 1/2 inch. Now I'm going to put this aside. Okay, let's look back at our little template here. So I'm going to cut this little square out here. I'm going to do that with our snips. And I'm just cutting a wee bit off the edge, so it's not really a square. And then I'm going to cut one little cut there that's not on the line. Can you see it? It's cut off a little bit. And I'm going to take the paper trimmer. I don't always do the best job when I am cutting by hand, and I wanted this to have a nice straight edge on it. So I'm looking right up here in the channel and right down here, and that score line should be right there. And I'm going to score it here to right there. And if I did it right, it should have come out, and it did. Yay. Okay. Well, so how have y'all been? What's going on in your neck of the woods? I wish you'd let me know where you are watching from. That's always fun to make new friends. Okay, now let's turn this the right way. Okay, we have the cut there and this cut here. So I'm through with this sheet. And before I fold anything, I'm going to put my DSP on here because I want to cut this out at the same time. So this is cut at 3 3/4 by 4 3/4. So let's go ahead and tack that down. Okay, and this doesn't really have an up and down. So I'm just going to put it like that, and I'm just going to leave an edge all the way around. Now, okay, so I'm getting ready to cut this piece out here. And let's turn this around. And I'm going to move my stand up so that you can see this better. And I think that is about right. I'm gonna get out my dies, and on the other card I used the big die. This time I'm going to use the smaller one. And guess what I got in this week? I'm looking at everybody's comments. They're sitting on their recliner. They're in their, let's see, we're on their couch. Okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad you're joining me. All right. So I'm going to take this one. This is going to be the top of my card. And let's look back. I did it about a ½ inch from the bottom of the card. So anyway, I got in, when I saw that I got distracted, I got in my magnetic plate for our CAM, our cut and emboss machine, and it is awesome. You can put this down and you don't have to use any sticky stuff to hold it in place. And you're going to substitute it for one of the plate, the number 3 plates. So you've still got 1, 2, and your magnetic plate, and then you put your the thing you're wanting to cut out inside, number 3 on top, and you're going to roll it through. Okay. Now, look, you've got this cute little thing that you can make a tag out of, and it wasn't stuck to both things, so you could use it again. So you can figure out something to do with those centers. Now, we need to cut. You want your recipients to know that they need to reach in and pull this out. So I'm cutting a little edge, but instead of using a circle or a square, I went with the same shape as down here. So let me show you how to do that, because you've got to turn it. It won't fit this way. So you've got to turn your card around. I'm going to turn it this way. And because I don't want this to move a bit, and I'm going to be folding the card over, I am going to use just a little bit of my Post-it note. So let's see, let's line that up. And I'm going right here where it starts making a straighter line, and I just want that little curved piece out. So I'm going to put a piece there. Then I'm going to fold this over and then put my plate number 3 on top. Okay. So, and I'm only rolling it through enough to cut it. Hopefully, yes. And it is working. You just have to be careful when you're taking your tape off. Okay. I think I may have figured out my nifty stand so that y'all can see. I'm going to put my cam back over there. I'm going to lower y'all back down so that you can see. There we go. Okay. Now, let's get with the construction of the card. Okay, so we've done the outside, wherever I put it. Here it is. And the next thing we need to do is to fold these edges. And I'm going to use tearing tape. Got some right here. And it's just like it says, it's double-sided, and you can either tear it or you can cut it. And I'm going to put it right close to the fold line. Okay. And put this right here. I think I told you last week that we're in the midst of packing up to make a move across town. And Lord have mercy. I came in and Rod had packed all the spices. I couldn't find any salt and pepper. I couldn't, you know. And I know he thinks he's helping me, and in a way he is, but I'm having to, you know. But then I say that, and I went to make a card yesterday that I was going to emboss. Guess what? I had packed that up, hadn't sealed the box, and I said, well, that ain't gonna happen. Change plans. And there we go. Oops. No. And anyway, I turned around and the box with my embossing, my heat tool, was right there with the embossing. Okay, so I've got my tear and tape down on two sides. I'm gonna fold it over, matching the edges. Okay, so now you have it. I guess this was a left-handed card because I did it backwards, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, now let's do the inside. I kind of struggled with the colors. I used black at first and asked the opinions of my wonderful friends, and they gave me some suggestions, and this is what I came out with. And you still have room to write your name or write a little message or write it on the back. So, okay, when I went to do the, oops, let's use the one we're making today. Okay, put my Very Vanilla. Now, I know it said Whisper White on there, but I thought the vanilla went better with these colors. So you can bend the rules. Now, I put this in there and got it, it's pretty close to being in the center. And what I'm gonna do is just take this, a pencil, and outline the shape so I'll know where to stamp. I don't usually do this. If it's a square, I'll just put a little, you know, line, but because this is an irregular shape, it helped me to do it this way. Now, the color here is Cajun Craze, and I thought it was a little bit dark. This was one I was playing with. So I went with the lighter one. And let me show you how, okay, here's Cajun Craze. And I wanted something that wouldn't be too pink, it would be more in that kind of rust color. So I came up with Terracotta Tile. So that's what I'm using to stamp the greeting. So I'm gonna ink it up. And center this down and up. Okay, next we have that scary witch stirring her witch's brew. So I'm going to stamp that at the bottom. And there that goes. Now I'm also going to put some little spiders. What could be creepier than spiders at Halloween? But the first thing I want to do is erase my line. Okay, now let's see if, did that get it all? I believe it did. All right, now I'm going to do my spiders, and you can do them anywhere you want. Next, and for the spiders and the witch, I use Glorious Grape. Is that an LSU color or what? Go Tigers! The next color I used for the bats. Again, I didn't want black. It would be too dark. So I went with a color that one of my associates and friends recommended, Paula. And this is Mango, what's it called? Let's look at the top. Mango Melody. That just went right out there. Okay, and I'm going to do the bats on there. Now, let me show you how the bat, see you got two bats, but guess what? They come on together so that you're stamping those at the same time. Well, I didn't want that big one. I wanted just the little one. So what I'm gonna do is mask the stamp. Let's see. So I'm gonna cover up the part that I don't want, that's the sticky side, that I don't want ink on. Okay, now stay put. And I'm just gonna ink that little bat up. And I'm gonna stamp, and be sure to take your paper off. You see that ink? I have, I know you don't think I make mistakes, but sometimes I do. So I have, you know, stamped it to where I got places ink that didn't need inking. Okay, I'm gonna put one here. Okay, see how it's just a subtle image? And I'm gonna do it again. I need to find my, take that off. Okay, and I think I'll do one like right here. Okay. Now, let me close my ink pads and set that aside. I'm going to slip this in, and it should work since we did that. And look, you can see a little bit of everything in there. Now, we're going to use, this is the coolest ribbon. It is called Metallic Mesh Ribbon. It's very fine and silver. You could use this on just about anything. And you can scrunch it up or leave it wide. I'm going to scrunch it just a little bit. Or actually, I'm going to go like this. And I'm just going to tie a knot. So, left over right, and right over left. Gives you a nice square knot. And then you can kind of spread that if you want to, and trim off. Let's see. Let's get that like so. Okay. Now, got to have some bling. And here I'm using my Take Your Pick tool again. It has that putty on the end that picks up, oops, the pearls. These are iridescent pearls, and they are yummy. I love them. And I'm gonna add 3 to my card and put the top on there. And there is this week's card, one that I hope that you can use. And I'll put the code when I redo the film and download it to YouTube. I'll have the host code for October on there. And if you'll go to stampingatthebirdnest.com, you can go to the tab that says Gallery, and all of my cards are there with instructions. So, and if you don't see what you're looking for or you need some help, you can always email me or message me. So, this one turned out to be a faster card than I thought. So, you're going to get to maybe get in some trouble before you have to go back to work. But I hope y'all are eating something yummy. Tune in next week. I know what I'm doing next week. I'm going to do a Thanksgiving card that is really cute. So tune in every Thursday at 12, and please share my videos with your friends, families, enemies, whoever. And I would love to hear your thoughts on my cards and how I'm doing. So y'all have a great week. Stay safe if you're in South Louisiana. pray for us, and I hope that, let's see, we've only got less than 3 months of 2020, and I don't know about you, but I am going to be very glad to see this year leave us. So, have a great week. Weekend's here, and I will see you next week at Lunch with Laura. Bye.